All right, anyway.
All right, live from the barracks. This is WASD and beyond. We are your hosts this week, Nick, Elliot, and Evan. Hello, everybody. Elliot, you've been on the show, what, a couple times?
I think
like 3 or 4.
I don't know. I know we did like a super old episode, and it was about like we were talking about Tarkov.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I think I was on one. I don't know. We were talking about music, and Nick spread false information that I liked ska music.
Did I do that?
Yeah.
I forget what that episode was about. Maybe it was about like Tony Hawk or something like that. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe it was about
sounds
soundtracks.
right.
We did do an entire soundtrack.
Honestly,
episode.
yeah, I think it could have been because Noah was the one who. Speaking of music, I noticed that my music's no longer the music used for the podcast. That's fine.
I had to
whatever.
shorten it down, and it's
I
get
it.
It's being used elsewhere.
Hey, you know, it is what it is. I've been out the game for a minute.
Oh my
God.
Been out the game.
It's a revolving thing.
Hey.
Well,
That's funny.
On this show, we like to hurt Nick's feelings and make him feel like a bad guy, because arguably I can be a bad guy, but you know who aren't bad guys? The sponsors of this show, Final Boss, Doc Longy, and SCREAMBOX. For the best merch in gaming, get you some Final Boss merch right now. Any and all leftovers are on the site, with new drops happening while Elliot eats his banana. Is this Final Biscuit or Final Banana now?
No, it's still Final Biscuit. That's
Final
still
Biscuit.
the bit.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think you're still waiting for your shirt, right?
I never got a shirt.
Oh,
I don't think they like
Final
me.
Boss. Come
I know.
on.
I know.
Fuck.
That joke was made like
4 years ago.
Holy shit. I was gonna say over 4 years ago, because it was before
COVID era joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, real. Because I think it was when I was living with Matt. So that was like 4 years ago.
This podcast has active lore. That's wild to me. We have lore on this.
Yeah.
We have like active lore. So check out
There should
Final
be a codex.
Boss. Oh, I will get a codex made. Just all the stupid shit I've done on the show, like pissing into a bottle. But yes, anyways, check out the links down below for Final Boss,
Codex
Doc
updated.
Longy, and SCREAMBOX. All links down below. Also, join the Spawn Camp Discord. It is free. Check out me, Noah, and Alex's brand new show called It Came From SCREAMBOX, where we talk about horror movies every week. One movie every week picked at random by myself, Alex, or Noah. That is sponsored by SCREAMBOX. Thank you very much. Check out Brody's show, returning show, Roll for Deception. That releases whenever it releases. Brody's not so busy. That are the plugs. That is the plug.
Them there be. That's how come.
Yes. Why say lot word?
Hell yeah.
So little. Anyways.
Real.
That very good. Very good. Boys.
Lot word do yes.
Lot word do yes. Little word do yes.
Lot word do.
Anyways,
Little word do yes.
Let's get right into it, because we have a lot to do tonight.
Correct.
Let's just go right into the topic. We're talking about Battlefield 6's beta. This is a game that I think all three of us have been waiting a long time to really see what they were going to do. With the recent releases of Battlefield games, it's been shit show, right? Because I grew up on 3 and 4, Bad Company 3 and 4, and I remember when those games came out, and it was just like, holy shit, like you can do this in a game, like in an FPS game.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
You can make these
100%.
Tom Cruise level of like plays, right? Where you're driving a tank, it's off a fucking building essentially into a fucking helicopter and just firing and blowing a helicopter up, landing, shit like that. Like, it's levels of that. I've seen people put a tank on top of an airplane or a helicopter, fly up, and use the tank as like a fucking sentry. It's sweet.
The classic, as they say, the only in Battlefield moments. I mean, like the classic clip on I don't remember the map. It's Scene Crossing. There we go. No, not Scene Crossing. Why am I thinking of that? Caspian Border. There we go. Because I think that's where the original clip where the guy jumped out of the jet and sniped the other guy and stole it. Yeah, I think that was on Caspian Border. I would assume so.
Yes. There was one of. There's been a handful of them, but I do vividly remember on Caspian. I think it was in Battlefield 3. Where a guy jumps out of a jet, turns around, shoots the other jet with a rocket, and gets back in his own jet. And then
because they even featured it in the flop that was 2042.
Yes, they did
in the trailer. Sorry,
2042.
Yeah.
No, you're
an absolute mess of a game.
I have vivid like I can recall my times playing each Battlefield game because I started with Battlefield 2 and I played Battlefield 2 and then Battlefield 2 like they had DLC and one of them was like special
Yeah,
operations.
all the individual like cases of CDs that you had to have.
Yeah, I'm sure we still
Yep.
have them somewhere.
That's it.
But there was one that was like a special operations that I remember very well because it was all based around like night maps and night equipment. So like you would have like there was like one map where it was like a hill, like a winding hill. It would lead up to like a big compound, and the way you could get over the compound because you couldn't get through the front door, I think, was you had like just an old school like grappling hook that you would just throw and you would just hope it would catch on to something. And if it did, you would just slowly climb up and you just hear the rope animation because they couldn't do hands. So you would just
Yeah.
wait until you got to the top. But I remember things like that. I remember playing Battlefield Vietnam with the AI and actually having to like push around a map and like capture objectives. I remember 2042 and Carrier Assault and how fun that was. I think they called it something different back then. I could be wrong. And then I remember
2142, the futuristic one.
2142. Sorry,
Yeah,
my
because
bad.
they were the flying ones, and you had like the mech suits and
Yep.
all that
Yeah.
shit. I very vaguely remember playing that one.
I
I didn't
played
touch
like
it.
I can only remember a couple missions on it, but it was fun. I remember playing um a little bit of Bad Company 1 on the Xbox. I don't think I ever finished it. I do remember playing Bad Company 2 and loving that story, and then
Oh
loving
yeah.
the multiplayer and the DLC. The Vietnam DLC was great, especially the little feature like the Hueys and Jeeps had actual like real music from the time
Yep.
playing, and so you would just be able to listen to that while you were getting shot at. And then of course, yeah, Battlefield 3 was like this monster of a game.
Beautiful game.
And
Beautiful
it
game.
was beautiful. It had a story. It had a co-op mode that was actually really fun. And it had a great multiplayer like system, I think. After they got, as all Battlefield games do or modern ones do, they have to go through a period of cleanup.
Yeah, a little break-in period.
Yep.
Yeah,
But then we
100%.
got, I mean, 3 was the best. I mean, in my opinion, the best to do it because of what it did. It was just from the get had a lot of maps. But then you also, I mean, we've been replaying it, Elliot and I, and just the sheer number. There's 5 maps per DLC. There's 5 DLC. Like, there's just this plethora of different environments, and they're all very unique. And some of them can be very chaotic, like Grand Bazaar, and then
Oh
some
yeah.
of them like Alborz Mountains or Bandar Desert, or there are those really long range engagement ones where you really rely on vehicles or sniping and things like that. And it's just like 4 did the same, made it a little better, and then yeah, we kind of got into it. I think they got into a weird period after 1 where they weren't really sure what they wanted to do. And
Yeah. I mean, I started way back on I think it was Bad Company 2 was one I started on. I would
classic.
while my brother was at work, I would sneak into his room and I'd play it on his computer.
Nice.
And then he also had Battlefield 2, and I remember going back and playing those. Because I seem to remember you could do your own little like kind of multiplayer kind of thing. You could like pick your maps, and then it would just
Yeah.
have like a bunch of bots you were playing against.
Yep.
Yep,
But
that's
I
what I
remember
did.
I remember going over to my cousin's house, and they had Bad Company 2, and I had played it a little bit on my brother's computer. Obviously, when he didn't know, he knew. I got yelled at and in trouble for it a couple times, but it is what it is. Anyway,
It's so
um,
good.
I remember they were playing, and I forget the name of the map. It's a desert map, non-descriptive of Bad Company 2. I understand, but you have, obviously your one spawn, the other spawn, and you got the helicopters. I remember my cousin was trying to fly the helicopter and he couldn't figure it out, and he just kept crashing. And I remember going, "Let me try, let me try." And I grabbed that controller and I flew the helicopter, and right then and there I was like, this is truly the best game I've ever played. And ever since then, I mean, that's all I do in Battlefield at this point is I fly the helicopter planes a little bit, helicopters, that's my thing. And then the love grew. Obviously, Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, no helicopters, but we would always just go
Yeah.
back to Battlefield 4 for stuff like that. And then yeah, 2042 came out, and I played a lot of Battlefield 4, you know.
I think
That's good.
I think that's pretty much the trajectory of what happened with Battlefield, right? Like we had such good grand slams with Battlefield games. Like in a sea of like
Mhm,
Call of Duty, we had the one game where everything felt rewarding in Battlefield. If
mhm,
you accomplish something
Hmm.
in a Battlefield game, it's because you fought to accomplish that. That's like
100%.
all I've ever thought. And Evan and I have talked a couple times over the past couple weeks about like our experiences with Battlefield. We both said almost essentially the same thing. Where when I first started playing Battlefield, me it was Battlefield, and I'm gonna say this like as like simply and dumb as I can, I guess. Battlefield's for the big boys, Call of Duty's for the babies. That's just how it's always felt to me. Like
I
you're
agree.
playing
Yeah.
Battlefield, you're playing the tougher shooter, like the big boy
Mhm,
shooter, like where
yeah.
every misstep matters and you will get fucked for your misstep. And that's why I loved Battlefield so much. I loved it for those moments. I loved it for just how either fast paced and or like slow the game can get, dependent upon the map and how your play style is. If you're a sniper,
Mhm,
this game lends itself to you immaculately. If you want to fly a fucking fighter jet and destroy anything and everything around you, you can do that in this game. Um, and I've just loved it because of those reasons. Now, obviously, Battlefield 5 and 2, we've kind of gotten shafted, but
well, we don't have to talk too bad on Battlefield 5, but you
I was
know.
gonna say five has definitely, I think, redeemed itself in some
yes,
aspects, and at the core, it was always still Battlefield. I think
Yeah, oh yeah.
this is kind of at the core of the conversation right now. I think when it comes to this community and just where I think the players want it to go, the community wants it to go, and there are certain people in the community that are I was gonna say influencers, but that's not the word I'd use. I'd say more creators. They're YouTubers
Mhm,
and things like that. Um, where there's this conversation around closed weapons and open weapons. And when 2042 went to the specialist system with you can use every single weapon any weapon that you want for any specialist, that was at the core of it for like me. I remember that and seeing that going, oh, that's not Battlefield.
no,
Like, because
so
it's
it
just that's like the kind of the defining feature are the four
yeah,
classes. Like,
yeah, 100%. Like each role, each class has its role in the match, right? And
right,
you know, and that goes beyond just the four main classes, right? Because again, you know, you have the people like me who know life sweat the helicopters, and then you
right,
have the people in the tanks, and you have the people in the planes. Like Battlefield has always been like 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 Call of Duty, right? It's just a run and gun for the most part, right? You
yeah.
know, a lot of people play the team deathmatch modes and whatnot. I've played them. You know, we all have. Everybody
We've all
has.
played them together.
yep,
Yeah,
Um, but the beautiful thing about Battlefield is it's been more of you can be like the sweatiest player in Battlefield and get all of the kills in the world, but if it's not like a ticket based game mode, it's not going to do shit. You know, it's not going
yes,
to do anything if you aren't playing the team role game,
and
and that's what Battlefield
nailed
is.
it exactly.
that's exactly it, right? Like working as a team or a squad in Battlefield matters. Call of
Mhm.
Duty, you can have that one player, Evan,
Who just does it?
or Julian, and sometimes Elliot, who can
Don't
just
even throw me.
who can just run
Never
off
me.
and go
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and just
don't throw me in there.
this game, Battlefield, it's also important to me because the meta doesn't matter here. Like
Yes.
it
Yep.
can, but you don't have to play something I want to talk about in this episode is the streamer tragedy that is plaguing these games. But like, you
I
don't
would
have
agree.
to follow the streamer method where it's like, okay, you see this fucking submachine gun, put this attachment on it, and you put this buttstock
Right.
on it, and you put this fucking sight on it, and you put this barrel. Fuck off. Let me play the game I
Right.
want to
Yeah.
play.
100% agree. That always drove me crazy about Call of Duty, and that's you
Yeah.
know one of the things of like, um, so like I didn't play much of Call of Duty after like Modern Warfare 2 really, and maybe a little bit of 3. And
The older
then, you
ones,
know,
you
I
mean?
picked back, yeah,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, the original
Gotcha.
two.
Okay.
And then I got into 2019, and that's
That's when we met.
now you got yeah, oh yeah, it is. Yeah, because Julian invited me to the server.
Yeah.
You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure 2019 is when that like the meta, right? The meta guns really started.
They started
in
boom.
that and beyond.
It was like that was kind of like, if you want to, I would say that 2019 was sort of like this incubator period where people kind of found that was the method, and then I think it was when Warzone dropped.
Okay, yeah,
because it was free to play.
Yeah,
and it was everybody could play it, and you had
was
that,
it free
and
to
then
play initially? I thought I thought you had to own it. Okay,
it was
okay.
No,
always
it was
free
free to play from the jump. That was the
Gotcha.
factor, or the way to get you in, right? Was, oh, you want to play the new COD? We want you to play the new COD too. Well, you can play the battle royale mode. That's free, and maybe if you want, you can buy the actual game. But I think that's what happened because I was there for the beginning of Warzone, and that's what would happen. Is especially when they started getting into like, hey, this is the next Black Ops Cold War. And guess what? All of those weapons are going to be integrated into Warzone. And then Warzone's going to be shared across all these different games. And that's when it started to become this thing of, okay, well, let's have a meta that people can follow. And I don't think it was necessarily on the fault of the developers, like it was deliberately them picking which gun to make good.
No.
But it was the streamer culture, and it was kind of I would just say social media in general. Everybody's trying to get clicks. That's the way you make money. And how best
100%.
to do that than to tell a whole bunch of people who are trying to just play the game, because most people are just getting off work. They have a couple hours. They want to be able to, own some games and call it a night. And the best way to do that is to look up what's the best kit to use right now. I did it myself. And I think that was lost on us because we were all sucked into 2019, and then it just kind of was a cycle of games coming out. But like when you step out of that bubble and you look at the games of old, especially Battlefield games, I mean, at the time, Battlefield 3 and 4 would have certain metas to follow, or you would do certain things that the rest of the community was doing because there was like a bug or something like that. But I remember very vividly in Battlefield 4 that when any gun was overpowered, the community was like, tone it down.
Yeah, figure this out.
Because no gun should be overpowered than the others.
Yes.
The F2000 in Battlefield 3, ridiculous. The USAS, especially with frag rounds,
oh my
insane.
God,
like
you just
like,
weren't getting past it at that point. Like
right.
Yeah,
you
it
just
was
had
ridiculous.
to suffer.
It was ridiculous. And the servers, because you used to be able to, pay for your own servers to run them. They used to be like, whatever game mode, whatever maps, no F2000, no USAS.
Well, in the servers
it'd be like a community like ban.
Well, yeah, I'm about to say the servers that didn't ban the guns outright. The notes would be like, if caught using these, will be kicked and banned. And it's like very good.
Yep.
There's still
like quick with that shit.
Yeah.
There's like a server online now for Battlefield 4. I think it's either a rush or it's just a conquest, but it's a 24/7 Pearl, Locker, and Metro. So it's all three of the close quarters maps, and it literally says in the server title, no mortars, no grenade launchers, none of this stupid shit that you guys love to use, which is like, some people will argue and say, well, that's that's part of the game, and my thing is go find a different server that allows it. Because this server specifically says
there's a lot there.
Don't use it. And it's like, and I would argue that if you're looking to get into infantry only gameplay, those are the maps to do it on. It's incredibly hard to do that when there's just one guy on the only outside section of Operation Locker with a mortar, and there's nothing you can do about it because let's be honest, it's incredibly hard to see in that game whenever there's snow.
Oh, so terrible.
It's terrible visibility. But like, I think that to lead into the beta portion of it is what 6 has captured so well of 3 and 4, is that people have done straight up comparisons now. The sprint speed is damn near the same. Actually, it's a mile per hour slower in Battlefield 6 than it is in 3 and 4. You actually run slower in 6. And I think with the knife is what makes you
you run faster with the knife.
You always run faster with the knife. That's
right, and that was
everyone knows that,
and it doesn't go faster than 3 and 4. I think it's actually like a 0.1 speed less in terms of the game speed. So it's like basically damn near the same, and I think that is what it's done for me. Like, I love that there's no tactical sprint. I love that I just hold shift or I tap shift and boom, this is my 1 speed.
And there's none. Sorry, I'm sorry. But
no,
it was about the running thing. I like how they didn't add like the operator-esque when you start running, you put your gun up here and you're
Oh my God,
it's just
yeah.
it's nice and toned down. It's simple, just okay, I'm just booking it, I'm just beating feet right now.
Beating feet, good
I love
hip
it.
sway, good shoulder sway. You got your
You
it-
got
yeah.
your momentum. Yep.
Well, and I think that's also another thing too that I really like about the movement is that I feel like there is a sense of momentum or inertia.
Mhm.
And like we've experienced that, Elliot. I don't think you really played it a lot during this time, Nick, but Elliot and I definitely experienced like the major inertia change in Tarkov when you got
I knew
super
where this
slow.
I knew where this was
I
going
I
to.
Just because
did
you heard
I
that word, you
did
knew.
play through it.
I got triggered.
I did play through it because you were like, "Hey, do this, this, and that, and try this," and I did it, and I'm like, "Why am I like a brick in like a tar pit right
Yeah.
now?"
You're like a brick
It's
shit
t-
house
it's
in that game.
terrible. It was
I was
terrible.
Like
what is
it
this?
was bad. But this felt
Really quick, fuck you,
it
Nikita.
has
You suck. You're garbage.
like
Give me
it
my
really
account back.
feels. Yeah, please give Elliot his account back.
Dare
Actually,
take it.
don't. I'm way
over
happier
it.
not playing Tarkov. I'm way happier.
I'm over it.
Uh,
Like there was I lost my train of thought now, but like in relation to
Inertia.
the movement and inertia and all that sort of stuff was that I feel like it has this perfect mix though, where it's very distinctively feels like Battlefield, where I cannot do stupid like crazy shit,
Mhm.
but like
Yeah. You can't
I
jump
have
and slide around everywhere and
right,
The
but you have
streamer, but that's
just
another thing from streamer culture, dude. It's that
well,
Twitch
it
play.
is, but and that's
Mhm.
what I think people need to
Oh,
find the joy in, and especially this game because it gives you these options. But Battlefield One introduced, I think, a slide mechanic, and it was very short, but it added something to it because it gave you this one last little bit of movement to get into cover.
yes.
And I challenge like it's great to get like a clip where you kill like 4 people with some crazy headshots. It's equally I would argue it's actually cooler and it feels way more satisfying to be running by a tank and to just slide into cover at the last second before you return to toast.
Way cooler.
And
which is realistic.
yes.
Simple as that. Simple as that, you know?
Yeah, and I think it has that perfect blend, right? And we talked about that too, where like if there's COD on one side and Squad towards the other, or Arma towards the other, Battlefield has like should lean in that direction towards the sort of sim or realism side of things, but it is just arcadey enough and just easy enough, and I use that term loosely because we just talked about how it should be the harder of the two, and it
Mhm.
should be, but it should be way more accessible than a Squad type of game or Hell Let Loose, because
Arma,
those games are
Squad.
those
Yeah.
games are like you load up and they're
Mhm.
like you better have a mic, you better know how to communicate, you better know how to do this.
Yeah, real.
Battlefield is the perfect blend of you can have that style of gameplay where it's intense and tactical and like military, but you don't need to communicate with people other than in Battlefield you can communicate with just the Camaros.
Yeah.
That's been in the
Mhm.
game forever, and like that's entirely what it's based around. I mean, that's what always cracked me up when like Siege and Overwatch. They're like, we have an emote wheel now, so you can like point things out. It's like Battlefield's been doing that shit since fucking like Battlefield Bad Company
Fucking
2,
Nam, dude.
Yeah.
or
Real.
since probably
Real.
Vietnam. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think that like I said, the movement and those sorts of things lends itself to it feeling like a Battlefield game, but it has all these modern appointments that feel so nice.
Mhm.
It runs great. It's the best running Battlefield beta I've ever played.
It's fantastic. And again,
Yeah.
it's hard to fully accept because again, look at every single Battlefield release and how it's been a
Yep.
rocky start. The
Every one of
beta
them.
is more flushed out than the past like 5 Battlefield games have been at launch.
We
It's
Oh, yeah.
incredible.
we kept saying just release it as is right now. We'll play this right now. Just
100% I
just
will.
drop it.
I've already sunk like I'm not gonna lie, right? I'm a little ashamed. I don't want to look how many hours I put into it. But like the first weekend of the beta, I played it every single day. It released today. I've put in. Are you looking it up? I can see it on your screen in the reflection. I can see you just pulled up Steam.
I only say it because I think you and I are actually pretty close, and yeah, we are. You're actually only ahead of me by 3 hours on the Steam side of things. I have 30.4, and you have 33.2.
Yeah,
I have
Put
fuck all
over a
4
day.
hours.
We put over a day into this, and I don't feel
Yeah.
ashamed about it because it's so fun.
No, neither do I.
Like,
It
it's
just
so
sucks.
good.
It just sucks that after Sunday we're gonna have to wait 2 months. But
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
One of the Evan and I were talking about it. I don't know, a couple days ago. Maybe it's when we were playing Battlefield 3 or 4 or something like that. But like this
Probably, yeah.
beta, Battlefield 6, right? So over the past couple, whatever, during like the labs and the play testing before the beta, right? I guess the alpha build.
Yeah.
Is alpha? Yeah. Anyway, who cares? Whatever. Sure. Everyone was comparing it to, like when you join in on your squad, right? Or like joining on your buddies and all that. And they were talking about like, oh, well, I want this fleshed out more. And a lot of people were comparing that to Battlefield 4. And I feel like that's the biggest thing people keep doing with this game, right? Comparing it to Battlefield 4. We've been doing that for however long we've been recording, right? And like,
really,
I think it's fucking close, right? But I think it's almost unfair to compare it, right? Because, we all have this nostalgia to the Battlefield franchise, wherever it may have started, right? But it all kind of focuses around 3 and then 4, right? But the thing that I love about it is you have those only in Battlefield moments, right? You and your buddies doing some head assery in the game, and you're having an absolute fucking blast. And again, it's the fucking beta, and we're having an absolute blast as if it's, I didn't play Battlefield 4 with you guys back in its prime, but like, if we would have,
God,
this is what this is what it felt like when I played Battlefield 4 in its prime when I was in high school. It's just,
well, that's a good point.
It's so good.
It's a good point that you bring up, because I recently was talking with 2 people that I did play these games with when I was in high school, Will and Eric, and we played 3, we played 4, we played a lot of 4 together. That was our primary thing that we played through all of its life cycle, and like we were talking about it, we were kind of thinking about it when we were playing last weekend, and Will pointed out I was there from the beginning to the end on PC. So I was I told Nick, I was a part of the community test environment. I was a part of helping build the night ops maps and the what was it, like the community operation where they were like, hey, we're going to bring back a map from one of the older Battlefield games. Which one do you want it to be? And like, I got to play the gray box of that and all that sort of stuff. So when we played 6 together, the thing we came away with was kind of just how you said, which was, this game feels like Battlefield when you play it with your buddies. And that's what matters. It's the fact that, you can
100%.
do head assery. However, if I have any platform that is loud enough to stand on and speak, I will say, Battlefield Studios, you gotta let me launch the Jeeps with C4.
Yeah, you gotta. It's gotta come back.
It's got to come back. I love the new system of being able to make a crater, but that thing needs to go to the moon too. Like they both.
Yeah, I agree.
I did it the other day with Will and Eric in 4, and we didn't go anywhere. We went just straight up. But as soon as we launched and we went up to the sky, everybody just started cackling because it's just hilarious to do.
Yeah, like, and it's funny you mentioned like you want the Jeeps and all that to go to the moon. Bodies in the beta go to the fucking moon, dude. It's hilarious. I'll be flying the helicopter. I'll get shot down, and my body will go flying out the front windshield, like to the other side of the map, like that. It's hilarious.
I shotgunned.
Great.
Like, so speaking of head assery moments, I want to start with 2. I'll start with one personal one from me, and then I want to talk about all 3 of our combined head assery moment here, because this was the best time I had in this beta. So the biggest one that I can remember so far with like myself was, what map is it where it's street in the center and then 2 sets of buildings on each side for 6?
Talk about
Cairo, the more orange one.
Yeah,
that's Cairo.
Oh yeah,
right with the buses over there. We're being fired at. Noah's fucking yelling at me, stay back. I'm like, yeah, I got this. I noob tube down. The fucking huge pieces of the building fall on these people. I'm like, oh, that's sick. I run over there and I see them all just like what the just like in shock. And I go, 3 key shotgun. And I start yelling, Black Ops, Black Ops, Black Ops, and I start just killing all fucking 5 of them. And like the last guy I shoot, his body hits like the top of the fucking ceiling and just flies out the building. And I went,
oh yeah,
that's insane. But Elliot and Evan, I'm going to give the floor to Elliot.
Yeah.
Because our tank moment.
Oh, that
double
was
tank,
good.
Double pits to chesty tank
on Cairo. That was great. Yeah,
oh my God.
Go on, Elliot.
So people have this habit of not going down with the ship, right? Whether it's in helicopters, whether it's in tanks, right? Planes, whatever. You start to get, you get to the point where you're going to die and you bail out so you save the ticket, right? So I was I don't think I had a tank yet. I think it was just Nick and Jules.
I didn't have a tank.
They didn't have a tank. Hold on. Not yet. They didn't have a tank yet.
Yes.
So they're like launching everything that they have at this enemy Abrams, right? And what does the driver do? He gets out to help repair it, right? Or run away, whatever. Nick jumps in the tank, steals it, right? Jules is on top of it, heals that bad Johnny up, goes off, right? I'm like, dude, this is hell yeah. So then I took one of our tanks, or our not the tank, the IV.
It's the IFV, the infantry
yeah,
fighting
yeah,
vehicle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, the IFE. So I then had our IFE while Nick is in an enemy Abrams. And then we had the rando on our team following us along in our Abrams. So we had 3 tanks and we were just driving around in circles. Just take a lap, just racking up the kills.
Screaming at 1 a.m.
Dude, there's another IFE in front of me and I started shooting at it, and because I was lead, right? And I remember I started panicking. I'm like, guys, I need help. He's fucking me up. Out comes Evan, big dick in it to the max. And he's running up to this fucking thing with the goddamn repair tool.
So
just cooking this damn tank in front of me. And Nick's like, Elliot, I'm coming. I'm like, hey, don't worry, man. Evan just big dicked it, just melted this fucking tank with a repair tool.
The best part about that was it felt like an actual ambush, because it hit one of the tanks in front of us when it came out, because it knocked somebody like loose, or like I think it was Nick, and it sort of like knocked him off to his side, and Nick's like, oh my god, there's like an IFB right, like he's like reacting to it in real time. And I jumped out of the IFE I think Elliot was in, and I jump out, switch to the RPG, immediately shoot it, and then switch to the repair tool and just hold it on there until it explodes.
God. Well, the crazy moment of that too was at one point in time, Elliot and I are just serpentining. That other dude fucked off, and we're just screaming, "Do another lap!" We're just killing everybody.
It's good.
We get rocketed. I see Julian and Evan just go and just start repairing us while we're. I'm like,
dude,
what is happening?
It was insane, dude. The amount of like team play. Now, granted, right? It's also because a lot of people want to complete the challenges, and it's funny because the challenges are like spot for the recon, and then but the biggest one is the healing for engineers. And the amount of heals that I have gotten in this beta when I am in a tank is astronomical. And I pray that it continues, because it's so much fun you have a whole flock of people. You have like 5 or 6 people who are engineers just following you. The second you get hit by an RPG or an enemy tank, you don't even notice because your health is already back full. You're like, this is so beautiful. It's amazing.
It's great on being on the other end of that when I'm shooting at the enemy team and I hit like an IFV with like it's 1 rocket. Okay, he's half. Second rocket. Okay, he's a quarter. Third rocket. He's half again. What happened? And then you're on your last 2 rockets and he's full health, and you're like, there's nothing. I don't know what to do. Like,
I give up.
Like I give up.
I was so confused on whatever peak. I can't think of the first one. Starts Liberation Peak. Thank you. What am I doing when I play Liberation Peak, right? I'm just flying the Apache, right? I work on Apaches. I'm going to fly the damn Apache, okay? So I'm doing all my passes, and I think it was Logan was my gunner. And it was the same scenario where I would go over a point. Everyone would say there's a tank on whatever point. All right, well, I'm going to go fuck it up. Go do a little pass on it, turn back around, go do another pass on it, turn around, go do another pass on it, turn around. I'm still doing a 4th pass on the same damn tank. And like every single time I'm getting multiple like just infantry kills. And that's what it is. I'm just killing the flocks of engineers following these vehicles, healing it. And I'm like, hey, I'm just farming points right now, whatever. But it's like, I swear to God, that's the same tank I've been shooting.
They're just swarming it like a bee.
It's amazing. I love it.
To touch on that too, I think a thing that I've taken away from this when it comes to the vehicles, at least, especially the Apache as the gunner, and the jets as well, because those are probably the vehicles I spent the most time in as like a driver or a gunner, is how much utility you have. Like in 4, it's like you had, like, if you were flying it, you had rockets and then heat seeking, and you could change a couple of things, and you had like a pretty small selection. And we don't have a selection at all right now, but like I love that it feels like I love that the jet has like a 30mm gun, heat-seeking missiles, and bombs to drop. Like I can do,
agreed. It's so
I can do
nice.
everything. I can help out the
Yep.
ground troops. I can help out the armor, and then I can also hold my own, whether it's against another jet or a chopper. And then like the same thing. Like I haven't flown too much of the Apache. I've been the gunner most of the time. But like when I was flying with you, I had the gun itself, which was very powerful, and then I also had the rockets to lock onto like tanks. And I was like, oh my god, I have actual kit. Like I can take down Apaches, I can take down jets with the gun, I can take down enemy like infantry, and then I have these rockets too for any ground like AA or whatever. Like I felt
You're
very
not stuck in
helpful.
this like you're not stuck in this like having to constantly change your loadout of the vehicle for like
Right.
okay, I'm gonna spawn in, right, but I'm destined for air targets right now. Well, you spawn in, you start flying around, and everyone's on the ground. You're like, shit, I don't have the right loadout for this. I agree.
Yeah.
That is huge in this current state of the beta, and I'm really excited to see like once you can once all these things are unlockables to see like truly how you can deck out the Apache or jet or whatever. The Blackhawk,
Well, and
apparently there's going to be a Blackhawk as the support helicopter. Cannot wait to fly that.
I can't wait to fly to be in that, and I also think that's an important part of it too. Is one thing that I think makes Battlefield stand out as well is so we've already touched on like the classes and
Wait,
like
real quick. I just want to say it's water, not milk. It's not. I'm not just drinking a gallon of milk. Okay. Anyway,
That's
sorry.
fine.
Continue.
Okay, I'm glad that was
Could you
cleared up. I was
imagine if he
kinda
was
worried.
drinking a gallon of milk? I'd be like, dude, that's insane behavior.
That would be hilarious. I don't even know
On a
what I'd say.
podcast, just pulls up a fucking, and it's room temp at this point. We're 40 minutes in. That fucking shit's
Yeah.
just like on the verge of curdle.
It's warm.
I'm gonna fucking,
It's warm.
dude, that was nasty. Why did I say?
All right. Anyway,
Why'd you say that?
Evan, carry on.
I'm
Evan,
gonna
carry on.
Yeah, I know,
die because I said that.
one I think that's a foundational part of this is like it
What
feels
did you
good
time
and
out?
it
What did you
reminds
just do? You just
what
I
crack
dropped
your.
something. Don't worry about it. I dropped something. Oh, did you hear that? Did the mic pick that up?
Oh,
Did
I
you
guess so.
crack your jaw?
Me?
Yeah. Or you dropped something?
What? I dropped something.
Oh, I thought he opened his mouth. Okay, fine. I don't care. Keep going, Evan. I'm so sorry.
You're good. I'm glad that was also cleared up. I think, like I said, it's important about like the fact that you felt useful in all the vehicles, and I also feel very useful on the ground when I'm playing my class. And I'm just sorry, take off this open class stuff. Just make people play the 4 classes and call it a day.
Yeah.
I think people would actually
I
really.
agree.
I think the game is far more Battlefield in that regard because that's obviously what the old ones were, but that's the core of it is that I am reliant on Elliot and Elliot's reliant on Nick.
Yes.
And Nick is reliant on Jules or Luke or whoever our 4th is. Like you reliant like if Elliot's the engineer and he has rockets and he runs out, he needs me to give him an ammo pack so he can have more rockets. Why do I need to do that? Because if I don't do that, the tanks kill us.
Everybody
And
has
I
a
can't
job
kill
in
the
these
tanks.
games.
Everybody has a job to do, and I feel that when it's open, I like Rush is open this week for this beta, and I've heard a lot of complaints on Rush is also just apparently a shit show because it's not balanced and it's not made correctly. Like it's only 12v12, which inherently I don't really have a problem with because the maps are kind of small anyway, but like it's other things too. Like the defenders can shoot into the attacking spawn, things like that are just not
Yikes.
made well. Yeah, just things like that are not balanced very well, and I think those are all fixable. But
yeah.
I think that that's also a foundational part of it is you have to this is part of it being hard, right? Is you don't get to just play what you want and get all the things you want with it. You have to play what you want to play, but you're going to have to use the things available to that role. You don't just get to
you have
use
to play
whatever.
the team game.
You have to play the team game, and that's what makes it difficult. Is it's very easy to play COD and just care about yourself.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to play with a team, especially a squad of 3 randos or 4 randos, and go, what can I do to contribute? Because I can't win the game. Like you said, I can't win the game no matter. I can get 100 kills. I can get 200 kills. It doesn't make a difference.
Matter if the tickets are zero.
Unless I'm doing something that actually helps the ticket queue or the ticket different queue. Oh no, it's like
no.
like, but if like that's what I mean. Like that's the important part of it is that you have to. It's a team game, and people should be forced to play the team game. I think that as soon as you make it more of an individual thing, is when it stops being a Battlefield title.
So what I agree with that. I think I think for casual players, the dad who is getting off work at fucking 6, the dude
Yeah.
who's working a tough job, the mom or whoever who just wants to get on late at night and play a Battlefield game, there should be the option for for a mode of
Like a
open
more
play,
casual
Team
mode.
deathmatch,
like a casual
domination.
yeah, but in its own category. Give us that still too, right? Give me, who I want to play a locked system, deathmatch, domination, all that with the locked weaponry. But people, I
Yeah.
think, should have the option to play a casual Battlefield. Because I want the hardcore experience. I don't want to play casual. That doesn't mean other people shouldn't have the access there. Does that make sense?
Well, and I think I get what you're saying, but I think that's also an important part of it too. Is that I don't think having a class system would be considered hardcore. I think that that's just core. That's the normal state of the game.
well,
And like,
and I agree with that.
I think team deathmatch and squad deathmatch and King of the Hill and all the smaller game modes should absolutely be able to be played.
Openly,
However,
almost.
people.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care if it's open or closed because inherently in those types of game modes, your class matters less.
yeah.
Because if you're
Agreed.
playing
Yep.
team deathmatch on a smaller map, you're not. There's
It
no
is
reason.
selfish or
Engineer
more
doesn't
selfish
really
play.
like. It doesn't matter because I mean, yeah, you can use those rockets to kill people, but like that's that's the extent of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not healing. Elliot's got that look in his face. Like
I knew you were gonna bring up the using rocket launchers in team deathmatch and domination. It's so much fun because
it is fun.
the level destruction.
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
The destruction on the game is really good. I like this sort of destruction style that they've got going, where it's not like Levolution, where it's this one big thing that changes the map, but it is this
Yeah.
sort of like just chaotic. It's just
Yeah, oh
like
yeah. It's Battlefield.
one
You
one
get
random
scared, you get
rocket.
overstimulated, you don't know what the hell is going on, and next
Being,
thing you know, the building's falling on top of
I
you.
was
You're
about
like,
to say,
what?
being in a building
Yes.
that is crumbling down because somebody shot a jet out of the sky and it hit your building while you're in it. Then things are
Mhm.
just starting to go
Mhm.
down. You're like, oh fuck, am I living? And then
Oh yeah.
you're just trying to, it's sweet. It's
Or
that's Battlefield.
jumping out of a destroyed window and then like combat rolling when you land because and like turning around to watch the rest of the building fall around you and like
Oh
you're
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um like
And,
that
and
was
that was something I was a little scared of, like when they were talking about it and you saw like early development videos of it and
yeah.
not yeah, videos, whatever, who gives a shit. Gameplay of it. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And like that initially that made me a little scared, a little callback to we are talking about the movement system in Call of Duty versus Battlefield, right?
Right.
That made me a little scared initially
Mhm.
because I was like, oh my God, are they gonna have like that rapid twitch shooter kind of movement? But it looks great. Like, I think it was like day one, Evan, Noah, and I were playing,
Yeah.
and we were just demonstrating that, just jumping off of a building and rolling. And
You
like,
guys
as the
found a
player,
really
it
big
looks good.
window,
Yeah.
Mhm.
high
Yeah.
Yeah,
window.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, and we just kept doing that, and like watching somebody do it, it looked good. And again, it's not. I mean, if you jump from a tall height, you're naturally going to roll to not hurt your legs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
It
another one of
gives
those. It's realistic movement.
and it gives you a choice because if I wanted to, I could jump from that height and I could land on my knees and I would take damage as is appropriate,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I'd be able to shoot someone right away. Whereas when I
Exactly.
roll,
Yep.
I don't. And so it's like that's kind of what it is, right? It's giving the player the choice, but also making those choices make sense.
Agreed.
Like it's a different thing when it's like, yeah, well, you can jump out of this, this window, and just before you hit the ground, if you hit space, you'll use these little like jet boots, or whatever that like will stop you from taking damage. That's not the
Yeah.
same thing as a combat roll, and
Hmm.
they might function and do the same thing, but one feels inherently better than the other and also fits the theme.
Yeah.
And
Agreed. Yep.
I think Battlefield also has a really good theme going this time around because it's always experimented with different eras. It's gone to the future, it's gone to the past, and it's gone to places in between. And I like that it feels just like 3 and 4 in terms of its modern
Mhm.
aesthetic,
Yep.
but
Yep.
it's not like it's not kind of absurd in the way that I think the newer Modern Warfare 2 and 3 kind of got. or not even those. Like, I wouldn't say they got crazy, but there was sort of like this overstimulation to me whenever I was playing them, especially 2 and 3, where there was like so many different attachments.
Yeah.
Because and that was both a choice, I think, of they had so many attachments, but they also did this thing where I could play through the M4A1 platform and unlock everything there, and then I could use those attachments for an AK or this other platform, like the scope I could use. But I could only get that scope if I use the M4. And I like that, at least in this beta, Battlefield has this just very normal system of like there are unlocks for each gun, and you unlock them, and that's it. And I think that is a really nice thing. I also like the gunsmith system this time around. The points is actually a pretty decent thing because it
Really
kind of
neat.
doesn't it lets you customize it to your ability, but you're
Agreed.
like if you check out the sniper rifle, you can only do like, I don't even think you can do like the straight pull bolt and a suppressor because they take up too many points. So it's like,
yeah.
ask, what
It's your
play
trade-off.
style what play style are you going for? Do you want to be quick with the bolt and not have to like unscope, or do you want to have the sound profile and like your flash suppressed, that way you're not spotted?
Yeah. Agreed.
And like that's exactly what, again, just like the combat role, it's choice. You have to pick, you can't get both. And I like that seems to sort of be the philosophy behind some of this stuff. I don't really have a lot of criticism of it, other than I think some of the guns need to maybe just be toned down in their rate of
Fix
fire.
the
I think
fucking glint.
I don't think the M4A1 should fire at like
Glint's
900
terrible.
rounds a minute. I think that
No,
like
it
that,
should not.
or like it just kind of blows my mind when I fire it every time, and I'm like, this feels like I'm firing like a P90 or something. Like
Yeah,
it just
real.
it. And I went back and I looked because I was just curious, and like Battlefield 4's M4 had a rate of fire of like, I think it was 800 flat. And then the M4A1 in Battlefield 3, I think, was a little less at like 750. And then I went and I just kind of did that because I was curious. And I went through and I looked at all of the assault rifles and carbines in Battlefield 4, and their rate of fire is varied pretty significantly in some cases. Like there were the outliers, but all of them were between like 600 to 800 or 850. And then I looked in Battlefield 6 and I saw like, okay, like the M433 is like 850 or 860. And then like I think one of the other ones was 770 and another one was like around that range too. And I was like, they all seem to be pretty fast. And
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see how that works in a longer range environment. Like
Agreed.
that's just going to be interesting because inherently Battlefield's always been about like taking your time, right? You have to burst. You can't just hold it. Again, another thing that separates it from COD. You can't just hold the trigger down or whatever. Things like that too.
Nicki Minaj and Beavis and Butthead and American Dad isn't in the.
Well, and I think
you know what? I'm not pre-ordering it until they do that.
Elliot.
Ridiculous.
Elliot.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. No,
Naughty
I
behavior.
understand.
What?
Naughty behavior.
I understand
Yeah,
what he's
no.
saying. He wants to
No
give them
pre-orders. No pre-orders. No
pre-orders.
pre-orders.
Yeah, we all said that. Eh?
Yeah, that
pre-order
was the thing. People did pre-order, not
did
us. Nobody in our Discord, I think, pre-ordered it, but I know. I mean, it was like Saturday
Elliot, did you pre-order?
week.
No, I didn't.
Okay, there you go. We did it, boys.
No, I saw like
November,
Saturday.
But not pre-ordering Battlefield.
It was like Saturday last weekend. I checked, and it said top sellers Battlefield 6, and I was like, guys,
we discussed
like, what did
this.
we say? We've talked about it for like 5 years. No pre-orders. What'd you do?
Oh my god.
No, I'm very happy with this beta, and I think if this is what we get in October and it's a little better, I'll be happy. Like, and
Agreed.
I played it at the end of May in their like server stress test, and that was when they had nothing on like some of the guns. Like they were just gray. They had no magazines in them. You just would reload an invisible mag and you'd keep firing and it would work. So like, and that was 2 months ago, or 3 months ago or whatever you want to call it. So like, I think that if they got to this point now and we're playing on, let's say, a build that's a couple weeks or months older, I think we're in a pretty good spot for October. Like, yeah. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Also, on top of the fact too, I mean, we're getting a campaign again. We haven't really mentioned that, but I'm actually pretty excited.
That's gonna be sweet
about that.
Yeah. I was actually just talking to one of my coworkers today about it, and about because he asked me, he goes, "It's going to have a campaign, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm really curious to see how they do it, because I loved the war stories in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5.
Those are
Now,
pretty good.
and you know, some of those were loosely based off real things that happened during the wars, right? So I'm
Yeah, one had
curious
Lawrence
if
of
they're
Arabia.
gonna, yeah. So I'm curious if they're gonna attempt to obviously manufacture something like that for the campaign, or if they're gonna use some real world stuff from like, you know, the past 10 years of
Cool.
15 years, or if they're gonna go back to the Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, and older, kind of
Yeah.
just like a normal kind of campaign that you just play through, you know, A to Z, you know, just play through it top to bottom. It'll
I
be
feel
it'll be
like
interesting to see.
I feel like it's gonna go back to that style of 3 and 4, where it's just a straight campaign, like a linear sort of thing, and maybe gives the player
Yeah,
some agency. And I think that's always a tough line to walk for those types of games, right? Because COD throughout the past couple of years and its campaigns has really like I mean the last one, Modern Warfare 3, had several missions where it was like, play it your way. It's like, here's the objective, play it how you want. And I'm
yeah,
curious if that's what Battlefield is going to do, and they're going to sort of like copy that, or if it's going to be more linear and focused. Um, and also like other things, like I wouldn't expect to get like a skill tree or anything like that, or I wouldn't expect to
right.
have like some sort of abilities or anything. Um, I would expect it to be kind of like a 2019 sort of thing. Apparently, that's also. I mean, it's funny because I'm actually on Wikipedia, so I can look this up. But I think the guy who is
It's ready to
running
go.
Battlefield Studios now. Yeah, the guy who's running Battlefield Studios now was originally Vince Zampella. He was originally a part of Call of Duty 2,
Yep.
4, and Modern Warfare 2. Um, I feel like if he had any hand in helping sort of direct it, is that we'll sort of get those.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
hope for that, because those campaigns are really good. So that's kind of the thing, right? Is it's I'm fine with that style of campaign. It's just that it's all at that point. It's just how's the quality of everything.
It's a
You know, is
blockbuster
it
at
Right.
that
does
point too. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
right, and that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be something that's entirely believable in every sense. You know, you got to suspend
We need it
disbelief
to
in
be
some way,
grand.
but right, it needs to be
Yeah.
epic in its scale, right? But like at that point, it's all about how are the characters interesting? Are they relatable in some way? You know, things like that. And I think they'll do that by and large. I think that I mean, Battlefield 3 and 4 are still campaigns I remember pretty distinctly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Especially 4. The beginning of 4 is incredibly intense because you think
Yeah.
it's just this normal
Yep.
mission, and then all of a sudden your squad leader is giving you a gun and saying, "Shoot the window out and let me drown." And
Yeah.
it's like,
Hmm.
whoa, like that. And I mean, I was what, like 13,
Yeah. You
14
were
when that
young.
game came out. That was
Yeah.
insane to play as your first
Yeah.
mission. You're like,
And
whoa,
honestly, I would be okay if it were more linear because like you
yeah,
mentioned about the previous like Call of Duty ones, right? It all kind of goes back into that like team mentality, right? If they give you a mission, they're like, yeah, do it however you want, right? That kind of falls back into the multiplayer role of Call of Duty, where it's just kind of, yeah, it's a fucking army of one,
I'm
right?
the main
Versus
character.
again,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
it's my
You know,
story.
so like if it were linear, I'd be okay with that. You know, it's going to be pretty. There's no way it's not pretty, right?
Oh,
And
it's gonna be so pretty.
you know, there'll probably be some things you can stray and kind of approach certain parts in the missions, how you would like, I would imagine. So, right. But
I'd be fine.
I hope it's not just kind of like, I hope it's not just, yeah, here's your objective. Go have fun. Here's a helicopter
Right.
and a couple rockets, you know, go do what you're going to do, you know?
I'd be so happy if it was like, dude, go classic like single player campaign from a shooter, and like protagonist doesn't talk, doesn't say shit
All we
ever,
need.
and and is just like
And
along for the ride.
add some humor to it, like in one of the old Bad Company
Those are
campaigns. I
very
think it was
funny.
one. Yeah,
No, both of
and
them
it's
are
like,
hilarious. Yeah, they're
yeah,
great.
and there's like the whole bit where it's like, all right, guys, we're going quiet, and they're like, yeah, and then you start hucking grenades and like
Yeah.
firing their machine guns as
Those were
they're
the
walking around the
commercials
corner,
back
you
in the
know?
day. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
the commercials
they
back in
had
the
the
day,
little happy
the little
sign on
bobblehead
the
thing.
pin.
Yeah,
uh-huh,
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
the
yeah.
yeah.
little the bobblehead.
And
Yeah,
then
Give us something like that, you know?
I
it had
can't
soul
wait
to it.
to see what this is going to be. And I don't want to speculate too
Oh,
much
same.
until we see a trailer, more of a
Right.
trailer for the single player.
Yeah.
How I
Mhm.
want to end this episode is asking both of you briefly how you're feeling about the campaign. Obviously, people can tell we're stoked, but how are you actually feeling about the campaign, and in the next 5 minutes going back to play more? Either one of you can start.
Like, wait, the campaign. What do you mean? Like
The
the
beta,
single player
the
campaign,
fucking
or
beta,
just like
the fucking
He meant
beta.
the beta.
Okay.
He meant the beta.
Okay.
I tried to go radio
you
voice,
answer
and it didn't
first.
fucking work to my benefit.
I got put in the spot last time. Your turn, Evan. Go.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. How I'm feeling about the beta right now?
That's
I
fucked up,
am.
dog.
First word that came to mind as soon as I loaded it up was I was impressed. I was impressed by the sheer performance that I was getting, that it was running so great, and that it was so pretty, and that it felt like a Battlefield game. Those are
Mhm.
like the three big things right off the rip. The sound was there. Like, sound is incredibly important in a Battlefield game, and War Tapes is back and better than ever. And War Tapes VAL makes it so you have a perfect excuse to say you can't hear anybody
There you go.
when you're playing with them, because it's so
Mhm.
friggin' loud. But I'm excited. I'm happy. I think that this is a much better spot than 2042 ever could have been in leading up to it. I think they've been very transparent with this one, because this is, I mean, essentially 8 days where people have gotten to play this game in its entire, not in its entirety, but 4 maps, a handful of guns, and things like that. I mean, you get a pretty good taste of what you're getting in a couple of months from now. And I think that
Mhm.
if we're getting this, I mean, today we were happy paying for it. We were like, hey, like, I'll play it right now if this is what you got. And
Oh yeah.
I mean, at this point, I'm inclined to say let these guys cook for 2.5 more months and see what we get. Because if we can get something
Mhm.
even better, that is really, and I think that's another thing too. Just to wrap up my thoughts on this, one of my favorite things about this beta has been how it really feels like DICE and Battlefield Studios all together, because they're no longer called DICE. I keep saying that; it makes me sad. They're It feels like they're actually listening to the community, and that has
Mhm.
been something that I personally have not felt since 4, because 4 came out and it was dog shit on the PCs, and they made the community test environment to rectify that, and it was a direct outreach to the community going,
Mhm.
help us make it. And the fact that they did Battlefield Labs gives me confidence, gives me hope. And the fact that this game is so well because of the work that those players and the Battlefield vets have done, um, I think that makes this game so much better for everybody who wants to play it in October. And so, like, the beta has been, I think, a real show of force here of like, hey, we're here and we mean business. We're not here to fuck around and make something stupid.
Hell yeah.
So yeah,
Agreed.
no,
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. Plain and simple for me. I can't think of the last game that I have been so. I don't want to say I'm really excited for it. I'm fucking so excited for this damn game, right? Because like that from Monday, Tuesday, and yesterday, I didn't know what I was doing with my life, right? I was going through fucking withdrawals from the beta of this game,
Yeah.
right? And it's just again, it feels it feels like Battlefield, and I'm I'm excited to see, is this the current build of the game, or is this a month and a half old
Yeah.
build of the game that we're currently playing right now? So is it going to get so much better from now until launch, or is it going to be a little bit better? I'm excited to see. Um, Maybe EA has turned a new leaf, and maybe they won't be shit on anymore. Maybe.
I would love
That's
to
a
agree with
big
you.
glass of milk that you just asked.
I know. I know it is.
It's
I know
water.
it is. But like,
I know.
but that's how I. Oh, it's a jug. See,
It's a jug of water.
A tall
See?
order, a tall glass. You know what I was?
a tall order of water. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited. In fact, I'm excited to end this podcast so I can go back to playing it. But we will carry on. Sorry.
No, fantastic. We're gonna end this right now. I'll keep it simple. I'm gonna keep it nice and simple.
I cannot believe you decided to
What?
record this when we're wasting time. We could be playing it, but go off, Queen.
Sweetheart, we're gonna record. We're gonna go play right now.
We're gonna record
does
again.
Battlefield does what Call of Duty don't, and it remains to be seen even more so in this beta. Call of Duty cannot keep pace with the things that Battlefield is doing and will continue to do. This beta has been a ton of things for me, right? Like, just awesome moments, great times with my friends, great times playing a shooter, an FPS with my friends again, in big team
Mhm.
battles. It feels epic. It is creating so many awesome moments all over again that I had when I was fucking 15 and even a little younger than that. This
Yeah.
Battlefield 6 beta, I guess to sum it up again, we're back. It just feels like we're so fucking back. And again, Battlefield does what Call of Duty fucking don't. That's where I'm going to leave that at. Thank
Put it
you.
on a t-shirt.
Oh, dude, that's the title of the episode. I have to. But yeah, I'll put that on a t-shirt. Thank
Hell yeah.
you, Evan and Elliot, for hopping on the show. Let's go play fucking Battlefield. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Check us out next week with more It Came From SCREAMBOX and WASD and beyond. Check out the sponsors, links down below. Final Boss, Doc Longy, and SCREAMBOX. And until next week, guys, take it easy and be... I don't know. Trying something new. Be safe.
That was kind of corny.
I hate it. Take it easy.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Let's go play.